Hello, sir. Welcome to BW Business World. First of all, what are your views on the union budget from a MSME perspective? What are the things that they addressed or sort of mixed?
So I think they've addressed a couple of things. They've certainly addressed the investment limits, credit guarantees. They've also provided support for women entrepreneurs. So the budget has made concrete moves in terms of doing it, in terms of helping small industries succeed.
We have seen that the MSME sector has been grappling with the 45-day payment issue. And what do you make of this? And apart from the payment and debt delays, what are the key challenges that this sector has been facing in the recent past?
I think payment and payment-related gaps are one part of it, but there's also a broad infrastructure, and I don't mean just physical infrastructure. I mean business infrastructure. Businesses need ways to deliver. They need logistics. Businesses need services, and when you look at really small businesses, they will not have full-fledged functions and full-fledged teams. They might need something as basic as help with filing GST. They might need help in writing contracts. Right? They might not have lawyers on their roll. So I think any small business requires a variety of things. One part of that I think has been addressed in terms of access to credit and access to funds, but also a broader ecosystem of services that enables businesses to do successful business. That still needs to happen. And so I'm hoping that as a result of what comes out of the budget, that organizations, institutions, and additional frameworks come into play that enable this input also to come. Rather than just funds. So reconciliation, accounting, all those are business practices. And I think there are opportunities even for that to be eased up. So it may be eased up through credit. It may be eased up through technology that enables faster reconciliations to take place. Or it may be just different business practices. But for different business practices, you need a certain amount of strength to come together. Right? An individual MSME can't change industry behavior and structure.
You talked about credit. So access to credit has been a challenge, especially for the female small business owners and the women who are restarting their careers after a break. So how can the government really implement initiatives or campaigns to sort of make sure that the financial assistance is being provided to everyone in the sector?
So the government, and I'm not a policy maker, so I cannot answer for all parts of it, but in by and large what a government can do is allocate funds and allocate principles, right? That which is the sector they want to help, how to identify who needs that help, what is the assistance being provided. So there the government can help, and the government is moving a few steps forward. But I think other parts of industries also have to come into play. So I still hear that when a woman entrepreneur goes, by the way, a lot of women entrepreneurs are a one-person enterprise, right? They're operating from home. So for them to be able to access credit, they need to apply for that, right? And so if a woman entrepreneur is asked, what's your husband's name, to apply for the bank account as opposed to her own identity, right? So even the banking sector has to display that maturity, the ability for them to be able to hire, right? And so manpower help, that they're able to do it. And that along with that also comes then safety and other elements. So for a woman entrepreneur to succeed, it's not just about the money, it's not just about tax breaks and the financial end of things that happen at a systemic scale. It's also in empowering other systems that make it easy for them to, first of all, establish themselves and then to succeed.
You talked about empowerment. So we are in a digital first economy. So how can these MSMEs empower themselves to kind of leverage AI and technology to stay ahead in the competition and be relevant?
I think it's also incumbent on people who are creating these services to reach, because think about a small enterprise, right? They have so many things on their plate. For them to also now research what is the latest in AI is not going to be possible. So I think what will be better is people who build these services, that there are at least some amongst them who are doing it for MSMEs, build those services and they do the outreach to MSMEs, or that's where a government can help. Government can announce contests, hackathons, and such events or participation and competitions whereby such services can emerge and then make those available at scale to enterprises.
Any advice for the entrepreneurs who are willing to captain the ship in this year, in the economic uncertainties that we have seen?
Well, uncertainty is something that will keep happening. So I think the fundamentals are always needed. Make sure that you've created a product or service that is truly needed. Make sure that you have an economic structure that is sustainable, and invest in the areas that will help drive growth.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Thank you.